I am Second Lieutenant Alex Mackey. I'm the platoon leader of 2nd Platoon Charlie 17, also known as Misfit 6.
Corporal Tyler Cuvion. I am a grenadier in Charlie Company, 2nd Platoon, 3rd Squad.
Yeah, Specialist Matt Spears, 2nd Platoon Charlie Company, 3rd Squad, 7th Cavalry Regiment.
Specialist Aaron Lindbergh, Charlie Company, 2nd Platoon, 3rd Squad. I am just a rifleman.
So, Operation Poltergeist, I was operating as Olympus 1, the forward air controller for the 7th Cavalry Infantry Company on the ground in southern Vietnam during Operation Poltergeist. We were doing a routine clearance of one of the islands in the Delta in order to seek out and destroy the Viet Cong, NVA, and any border assets inside of our assigned area of operations.
Back in August 1969, on Operation Poltergeist, we deployed to LZ Yankee, Phuoc Toi, I believe it's called, and we encountered heavy Viet Cong resistance shortly after our arrival to LZ Yankee. We pushed up past to LZ. Our SL wanted us to get a little further into concealment and cover, and then we encountered heavy contact.
Well, we flew into a landing zone. We weren't experiencing any fire at the time. We pulled back into the tree line, where we then ended up making contact. After a short time, my fire team and I were sent to move forward. I'm believing that it was actually moving in between enemy lines, because we ended up coming to some Viet Congs in the deeper part of the jungle, where my fire team ended up dying in front of me, and we ended up taking some hits, and I took out the Viet Cong with a frag grenade.
We tried to assault the enemy to no avail, so we tactically withdrew from that firefight. We were then retasked with taking a village, which I thought the squad did splendidly well. We were then taking contact from a clearing on the other side of the village. There were also civilians in and around the village, but we took that village. We then came under fire. One of the civilians inside the compound was actually not a civilian. He was Viet Cong through and through. He came out of the house, a hut, with a rifle and tried to shoot my squad mates. At that moment, he was destroyed. He was eradicated. The full force of a 7th Cavalry squad with rifles, machine guns blazing, shot the man down.
Fire team from 1st Squad chopped themselves and attached them to me to provide security while I was working those airstrikes. We then pushed inside the village. I was just traveling with 1st Squad. Was working, getting some close air on the further east of the village, because we started taking sporadic NVA contact from that portion of the AO, at which point I was rendered unconscious due to a bolt action rifle round to the back.
I could hear American voices further back, so I followed those voices the best I could until I was able to meet up with them again. And it was about, I would say, about a 200 meter trek on severely damaged legs and heavy bleeding.
We then retasked to the ORP, where we defended a hill from vicious assaults time and time again. Close air was called in, napalm at close range. Again, we eliminated the enemy, and then we withdrew to the initial LZ.
Yeah, so after we pushed off the first village that we swept and cleared. Platoon rallied at an ORP. That was then, or first squad rallied with second squad at a platoon ORP. I think third squad was also, or correction, fourth squad was also there. Second and fourth squads were under heavy contact, dug in a trench line, being pushed by platoons of NVA and VC, pushing from the east to the west towards the ORP. Friendly contact was inside 20 meters of friendly lines. I had noticed an elaborate network of trenches dug by second and fourth squads. I immediately got on the horn with Condor, established clear routes perpendicular to our line. So we were facing to the east, and I only cleared Condor to come in east to west, so that way bombs wouldn't land short or long. Through continual usage of colored smoke to not only mark friendly locations, but also suspected enemy locations. Unfortunately, some of these strikes came inside of 15 meters of friendly lines with next to no friendly casualties. However, if the strikes didn't happen, the platoon would have been overrun and destroyed.
I think we pulled back. I don't remember what happened after that. I think I blacked out after that.
No, he's not a staff sergeant for no reason. He's got experience, and we've been into plenty of AOs like that. We're normally very, very excellent when it comes to securing and escorting civilians out, but I doubt they were civilians. They were armed, and from what I heard, they actually, some of them actually had armaments ready, and they actually engaged our squad.
I think that, when you're in the army, rumors are flying around all the time. And I think there were definitely some rumors regarding the conduct of my squad leader and my squad. However, I was not witness to any of these actions, and as far as I'm aware, there was a full military police audit that took place after the operation, and no wrongdoing was found to have taken place. All policies and procedures were adhered to, and there was found to be no friendly fire or civilian casualties in this operation.
Official reports say that he killed civilians, but if you ask me, I think they were just more Viet Cong.
I couldn't say that they were civilians. I don't think anybody was a civilian out there.
I did not witness any killing of unarmed civilians. The civilians had armed themselves at some point because I was shot in the back by a civilian. I was ordered by the company commander to render that combat ineffective utilizing airstrikes, so I then directed Condor 1, which was an A7 Crusader, to execute 2 times bombs on that objective. It was known that there was a civilian presence, however, the greater risk was allowing that IDF to get a fix on our location and fire. Fortunately, this was also after we had taken indirect contact through hostile civilians. The second village that was supposedly full of civilians. There's also a large BC platoon forming in that village when it was called in through Anvil to execute a 15-round HE and Willie Beat mission on that village.
And it was I'm glad the operation's over and I made it out. Let's say that.
No, at the end of the day, my actions saved lives.
It's tough for me. I'm addicted to combat. I want to get back out there.
You wouldn't think that a bunch of farmers with Soviet weaponry would be able to be as effective as they were, but it was their land. They knew.
I only definitely regret seeing my fire team go down and not being able to help them.
I thought that the war in Vietnam had a noble cause. Perhaps some of the way certain operations were carried out, but ultimately the fight against communism is a noble cause, and I do not have regrets about being in Vietnam.